Works on the radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station, I don't understand. But nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Welcome to a Beat the Big Dog Thursday lunchtime style here in the doghouse. I think we are featuring pizza for lunch today. That's what I understood. Grizz is in the kitchen right now flinging the dough, doing that thing where you spin the dough. I mean, we kind of like that thin crust. So that's what he's doing right now. We're going with like a garlic parm sauce on our pizza. That's what we call a white pizza. I mean, folks up north, you call it garlic pizza, a white pizza. We got some chicken and some bacon on there as well on our pizza today. So it's a pizza Thursday, a pizza Thursday here in the doghouse. Now, it's also week 10 of this season's Beat the Big Dog, where one listener gets to go head-to-head with me on 6 games against the spread. And I will afford you the opinion of Grizz the Magnificent as well. Now, last week, I tacked on a 5-1 week against the spread, putting me 11-1 in the past 2 weeks. 11-1. 9-0 on my college picks in the last 2 weeks. Joel from Decatur was 3-3, as was Grizz, the Greek. And by the way, the only thing that kept me from a second straight 6-0 was I had the Falcons getting 2 and a hook, and they lost on a last-second field goal by 3. So my record on the season is now 30-24 against the spread. Again, we're not picking winners here. We're picking against the spread. 30-24, so it's starting to look much better. I am up about 3.5 units on the season, for those of you that understand the sports wagering lingo. Grizz the Greek is 28-26. Not quite enough to be ahead of the man. And you guys are a very solid 32-22. So you now have a 2-game lead on me, as I've been tracking you down from your 6-game lead you had a few weeks ago. And that record has you up almost 8 units on the man. Now, so what do I mean when I say that? Well, this is what I mean. When you lose a pick, you pay a 10% VIG, which is short for vigorous, generally. Generally, it's 10%. So you bet $1.10 to make $1, okay? You get your dollar back, and you get your dollar that you win. But if you lose, you pay $2.10, okay? So if you win, you get that dollar back. So Grizz, for example, he would have made $28 for his 28 wins. But the 26 losses cost him $28.60 because he loses an additional 10%. So he's down 60 cents. Now, you guys have $32 in wins, and 22 losses cost you $24.20 because you're paying 10% on your losses. So you're up $7.80. Put the zero wherever you want it, depending on what you're, doing here. Generally, you need to win about 52.5% to break even on your picks. Anything over 55% is pretty good. Now, I'm at 56% right now. I'm 55.5%, rounded up to 56. You guys are just under 60%. That's outstanding. So listen to the picks of the listeners. Beat the Big Dog is coming up later in the 1. Now, if you know what you want to talk about, phone lines are open now, 256-576-4977. You can also text the show at 7329-TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. Great way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN, where there's tons of information. We're also on the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show at Twitter and Facebook. You can watch it on Twitch and YouTube at WZZN TV. Follow us on the Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, get notifications. 977ESPN.com has got links to all of that nonsense. And while you're at it, get the apps. Get the Zone app, get the Blitz app. because you're going to need Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4, all our alternate streaming channels, especially tomorrow night when Randolph is playing Dora in the 4A playoffs with Austin Coletti and Drew DeArmond on the game on the air and on our primary feed. And over on Zone 2, Madison Academy is playing Sylvania in the 3A playoffs with Stephen Glenn on the game. And on Zone 3 is UAH basketball, and on Zone 4 is Alabama basketball. And the final Woody Anderson Ford North Alabama scoreboard show tomorrow night with Scott Tyson begins at 9:30-ish on the air after the Randolph game, which is going to be double dipping for Tyson because he'll be actually on the UAH basketball game, and then they'll zip over to the station and pick up the scoreboard show. Now, coming up in a few minutes, Buckhorn basketball coach Patrick Harding will join us to preview the Bucks this season. We will have at least 10 of their games on the air, on our streams, and over the air. Bailey Lowry and John Abraham, better known as the Bandy Man and Captain Cool, will be on the call for Buckhorn basketball. The Bucks have one of the best players in the region, the dynamic freshman Caleb Holt. 6'5", started on the varsity last year at small forward as an eighth grader. An eighth grader, was one of the leading scorers and rebounders, eighth grader. Then he went nuts in the AAU season. He now has offers from Alabama, Auburn, most of the rest of the SEC. See him while you can. I mean, I really hope that he stays in the program for a few years, but you know those big national prep schools are all over that dude. Great would it be for him to just play at Buckhorn the whole time. We'll see. At the top of the one, Steve Merrill from Pro Sports Info is back. We'll get a look at the action for this weekend. Steve is always good. He's great at money management. Very solid on the hoops as well. Then we'll have today's Beat the Big Dog. So over there in the little glass room, playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax and answering the phones, keeping us on the air, proudly wearing his Huntsville City FC gear today. Excited for tonight's Falcons-Panthers game on the Prime. Woo! And on our air. Yeah, he's fired up. You know what I'm talking about. It's DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Grizzalicious, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing just fine. I'm excited. I'm super excited about last night. Yeah, I don't know how you couldn't be excited for another minor league team in here and right down the street over at Old Joe Davis Stadium, and the video and everything looked nice, and it was nice.
Do we know for a fact
fan base came out.
What they're putting in for a surface?
Surface? I'm not really sure on that.
A turf or grass?
It's outside. It's open. So I hope it's grass.
I don't think it's going to be because of the football they're going to play on it. I bet because of wear and
tear.
I
would hate that. I still would hate that, though.
Yeah.
MLS has money. Come on now. Give us some grass.
I mean, that would be great. But your beloved Five Stripes of Atlanta, don't they play on? They play on turf, obviously, because they're inside the dome.
Because they change it between the Falcons and them. So.
Wait a minute. They do?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
It's completely changed out the turf. Yeah. They roll up one rug and put down the other rug?
Yeah.
I didn't know they did that. Why?
Just makes more sense. I think the NFL has more money.
How does that make more sense? You got to have two rugs. Why not just play it on the football field?
I'm pretty sure last time I checked they do that. I'm pretty sure they changed the rug.
No, I think you're right because the numbers are inlaid on the football field.
Yeah.
It's not like they're on there. They're inlaid on the football field. All right, so
because last time I checked when they asked about it, because it doesn't make sense because they don't ever. It seems like they hardly ever have the big circle open, like the big hole open in the middle of the stadium, which I still think that's the dumbest thing they paid for.
Anything or for soccer?
Mostly most of the times you like first couple seasons they barely had it open, and the first season they couldn't even get it open.
All right, let me ask you again: for anything or just for soccer? Are you talking about they don't open it for anything?
No. I'm just saying. I think that mostly it's just for soccer. Yeah, because like all the other times that I've seen it try to open it for, like they've done it a couple of times for the Falcons this year, but I just like I said, open. I think it's just a waste of money. It's total waste of money. I mean, they could have done.
Looks like a camera.
Yeah,
it looks like a camera.
like a camera opening up. Yeah,
it's like a little hole. They could have like a little hole.
I could have been totally cool with what they're doing in L.A. or what they're going to try to do in Nashville or what they might do in Chicago. I mean, that I could have been totally cool with that open air type of feel.
Well, they're not going to do it in Chicago, and they're not going to do it.
Well,
in
are they? Do they ever
Nashville.
figure out what they're going to do in Chicago?
Chicago's just going to be a dome.
Is it going to be?
They're not saying that it's not going to be. They're not saying retractable. It's not going to be retractable.
Well, I wonder if it's going to be like that glass top like LA has or whatever.
Well, yeah, everybody is going now with that, the translucent top, so that there's natural light that comes in. See, in LA is different. LA has a cover, but the sides are open. See, in LA, the ends are open. Remember, they had a rain delay. That one game, they had a weather delay at LA because even though there's a roof, the whole end is open, and they were getting light. They were worried about lightning coming in.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Somebody with lightning. So it's open. But that's not what these are going to be like.
So
here's a couple of ones that are coming.
Here's something that we haven't been talking about all week, really at all. I mean, I know we talked about it early in the season, and some people have asked me questions about it too. How do you feel about this game in Germany?
Hate it. I hate all games.
Well, yeah. You don't like. Yeah. I get it.
I don't want any games overseas.
I get
and this
it,
one is on only the NFL Network.
They've had coverage all week too. That's like the only place that's had coverage. Seems like.
Yeah, they're like all fired up about it, and it's TB12, right? He's over there.
Yeah, with the Seahawks.
I hate it.
Not
I
Russell
absolutely
Wilson.
hate it. I absolutely. When I'll tell you when we should start doing it. When the Premier League starts playing regular season matches in the U.S., which they don't. They never do. Well, they'll play friendlies over here. But when the Premier League brings the Tottenham Hotspurs and the Manchester United and they bring them over here to play a regular season game, they would never rip a game away from their fans over there.
Oh yeah,
never.
I definitely do. I definitely do enjoy when they bring out the MLS All-Stars and they play, like one year they played Roma and Kansas City. I think they played Tottenham a couple years ago. So I do like that. I do like bringing a team over and playing their full squad against the All-Stars because I think that's.
You see the mug here? This is the real football. College Football Hall of Fame.
The football club, all right?
Not football.
Football
This is
club.
the College Football Hall of Fame, Atlanta, is what it says on that there. Today's featured mug of the day. Mug o' the day. The coffee mug o' the day for the Tom Abraham show. Sad news coming out of Atlanta with the passing of Fred Hickman. Dies at age 66, no cause of death yet. Fred Hickman. I mean, back in the day, Steve would remember this more than you would, and certainly Tyson would. But back in the day, CNN Sports Night, that was a better show than SportsCenter. I'm going to tell you right now, CNN Sports Night was my go-to for sports news.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
I don't even know why they stopped doing the show, but it was CNN Sports Night with Fred Hickman and Nick Charles. That was the show. Vince Cellini was on that. Van Earl Wright. Jerome Jurinovich.
Yeah.
With the updates and stuff.
I thought I had seen him post, because I'm friends with Jerome. They added me back on Facebook, but I saw him post something about that last night. So, I just saw.
About Fred Hickman dying?
Yeah.
I mean, Fred Hickman, you remember Fred Hickman,
don't
you?
No, as soon as I saw the face, and I had remembered from last night seeing it, yeah.
He's been on the,
I probably wouldn't have been able to tell, rattle off like you just did, but no, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
Grumpy says, Randolph's playing Dora. Please tell me Dora's mascot is the Explorers. Dora, the Explorers. What's Dora's last name? Dora the Explorers. It's at Dora. It's all I know is because they said it. They're Dora Bulldogs?
Bulldogs.
So not the Dora Explorers?
No, they're not the Dora Explorers.
They're out in the middle of nowhere. That's all I know. From our meeting, I found out that they're out. You go to nowhere, you make a left at the end of the earth, and then there's Dora. from what I understand. Isn't it? It's by Jasper, which is actually Jasper's beautiful.
I'll tell you now.
I've actually looked at stuff in Jasper because of Smith Mountain Lake.
Yeah.
I've actually looked at homes down that way.
It's little towns like that. It's like when you drive down to Tuscaloosa or Auburn that I enjoy driving through little towns like that wherever I'm going, especially if I go out west. If you're going out west towards Mississippi State or Oxford or somewhere, I like driving around Phil Campbell and those little places, Demopolis and all that other stuff. I love those little areas because my grandparents came from Camden, small little town in the Bible Belt. It's great, man.
Small towns are fantastic. We got them all over here in Tennessee. I mean, they're absolutely, well, the one I live in, Winchester.
And you can always find like the best like little diners and everything like that. Oh man,
Fayetteville has a great diner. I forget what the name of it is. Right in downtown in the square in Fayetteville, there's a great. I've been there twice because I got 2 speeding tickets in Fayetteville because when you go on 68 in front of the Frito-Lay, you're going on 64, Highway 64, right? And it's a freaking 4-lane highway. I mean, it's a wide open, big highway. It's like being on 565. So you're going down a highway, and the speed limit is 65 miles an hour for most of it, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you get to where the Frito-Lay plant is, about 2 miles outside of downtown Fayetteville, and for some reason, the speed limit drops to 45,
Gotta love that.
nobody ever sees the sign. I got clipped going west, and I got clipped coming out of there. I got clipped coming out of there from a Franklin County high school football game, and I got by that Frito-Lay plant. I just sped up naturally. I could see the sign that said 55, and then the next sign is 65, but I was still in the 45, so I went ahead and sped up, and the freaking cop stopped. By the time he pulled me over, I was past the 55 sign. I'm like, the sign's right there. No, I got you back there. I'm like, why? You could land an airplane here. And there's no traffic. So anyway, every time I get a speeding ticket in Fayetteville,
slow down.
I got to go to the courthouse in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
And right on the square, there's this little restaurant. I don't know, I forget the name of it, but they got, it's like a soda jerk place. They got ice cream and soda, floats and things like that. But they make a ridiculous burger. I mean, just absolutely great in there. So whenever I'm over there. But Fayetteville is that way. Winchester's beautiful. Bell Buckle. All the little towns going across North Alabama. I mean, I love a little town.
Oh, yeah, man.
I classify Gunnersville. I would live in downtown Gunnersville in a heartbeat.
I love Gunnersville. I love downtown Gunnersville. It's absolutely beautiful, man. I love when we went to Hartselle. I don't know how many times I've been to downtown Hartselle. I love downtown Hartselle. I just love the feel of it. I love the feel of it, man. You didn't drive through it?
I had never been there.
Oh, okay.
18 years I've lived in the valley. I had never been to downtown Hartselle. What's cool about Hartselle is it's small. It's tight, not small, but I mean the roads are tight and the buildings are all the same height. It's like if it didn't exist, you'd have to invent it.
It's like beautiful little towns like Asheville, just south of here. If you go through Asheville, that beautiful courthouse that they have, then they have the square around it, and then they've got the little buildings and everything like that. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of places around here that I love just driving through.
Grumpy says it's Honey's Diner. I think he's right. I think that's what it is. I think it's Honey's Diner over there in Fayetteville. I love all these small towns. I love them all. Even though you wouldn't necessarily think of Gunnersville as a small town, it is still pretty much a small town. It is. Like Grizz is whispering sweet nothings in my ear. Says the Philip is on from Virginia. I don't know if the Philip lives in a small town in Virginia. Philip, are you living in a small town in Virginia?
Heck no. There's over 1 million people in Chesapeake. There's over 1 million people in Virginia Beach. There's over 1 million people in Norfolk. There's over 1 million people in Suffolk. There's over 1 million people in Portsmouth. And they're all jammed together.
So that's where you are? You're over there by the coast then, is where you're at?
Yes.
Yeah. I was there, the Shenandoah Valley, is that what they call it? Is that there?
That's completely different.
It's in the mountains. Yeah, that's beautiful. I was there not too long ago. I went there with my wife and rented a cabin in the Shenandoah Valley, and it was gorgeous. I mean, just absolutely. My wife would move to Virginia too. If I said let's move to Virginia, she'd like, that part of real country Virginia, not. That's
a good job by you. That's a good job by you.
Oh, so what's up?
My aneurysm's doing great, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
I thought it was Friday. It was actually today that I had to go. I'm 3.77 by 4.21.
So they don't think it's going to burst.
If either one of those reaches 5, it's under the knife time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so is it true that the Colts hired Jeff Saturday as the head coach? They did.
By the way, Grumpy says, tell Philip good luck tomorrow with his checkup. So he had his checkup today, and everything is good. So that's good. Yes, they hired Jeff Saturday to be their head coach. And I have mixed emotions about it because I really like Jeff Saturday, and part of me is really hoping that he does well. But as a former coach and somebody that has great respect for the coaching profession, I'm a little bit afraid because if he does well, it's going to totally blow out of the water the concept that coaches – not anybody you can't just be a broadcaster and then go become a coach, even if you played 14 years in a league. You don't get to just walk in the locker room and all of a sudden you're a coach,
Well, what I'm hearing about it is, everybody's, and I paint with a broad brush there, but everybody's having a hissy fit because he's not black. This is the white man.
What's that? Because he didn't interview any black
white
yet.
Man
Yeah, they didn't interview anybody, but it's the interim job. It's just interim. So, they just hired him on an interim basis. They are going to go through the Rooney Rule process where you got to interview 2 minorities. They don't have to be African American, but 2 minorities from outside of your organization. They're going to do all of that when they do the permanent hire.
Well,
but that doesn't mean they're going to hire a minority. I mean, they might still hire Jeff Saturday.
I get that. And look, I don't want to turn this into the Phil Donahue show, but you got to put yourself. People that are making that argument and that are all up in arms and having hissy fits about it. Maybe that's why black coaches, head coaches, aren't hired as much because God forbid they suck. You got to fire him. Oh, you fired him because he's black. You fired him because he's black. I mean, these dudes can't win for losing. It's just frustrating.
My question is, if you were going to bring in, this is my question. If you were going to bring in an outsider that was a broadcaster right now to run your team for the last 8 weeks of the season, did he call Tony Dungy? You know what I mean? Did he even call Tony Dungy? That's what's weird,
Well, I don't know. Tony Dungy, I think, is up on another level, and he'd be like, "You want me to what? You want me to get what? What are you talking about?"
Well, you need somebody to run the team for a little while.
I don't know.
But if you're, I'm just saying, I wonder if he talked to him, is what I'm saying. I wonder if he even asked him, hey, can you come and run the team for eight games and help us not only run the team for 8 games, but then help us select the next coach. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I have a really good take. You're going to enjoy. I can't do it now because I got a guest coming up, so we got to get a break in here. But I have a really good take from Ryan Clark. He nailed it. He nailed this whole issue with Jeff Saturday, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. But thanks for the call, Philip. That's a good job by you. I'm glad that the aneurysm is doing better. All right, let's get a break in there. When we come back, Patrick Harding will join us. He is the basketball coach at Buckhorn. He is one of the top players, not only in the state, but in the country, playing for him. We'll talk to him about that next, right here at 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe it or not, the holidays are upon us. It is time to start thinking about the important things like, hey, what's on the menu this year? It is time to pre-order your honey glazed ham or turkey from Apple Lane. Let's get honey glazed for the holidays and make the holidays even sweeter with our award-winning banana pudding.
That's right.
Let us help make this year's holiday just so much easier. Apple Lane, come see us in Decatur, Alabama on the Beltline.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of All Things Football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. An increase in cloud cover through the heart of the afternoon and then early into the evening. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s, dropping into the upper 50s and lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Showers and thunderstorms should develop across the Tennessee Valley during that time frame and stick with us at least through the early part of the afternoon on Friday. With that in mind, temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler, highs hanging out in the upper 60s and lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The best local sports talk with the best in college football. A perfect combination. Hi, this is Chris Stewart. Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What in God's name are you doing, Grizz? Where'd this come from?
I mean, come on. We're talking basketball and you don't know Pump Up the Jam?
Is that what did you do that on purpose for this?
Definitely. Are you kidding me? Just to liven up the crowd and the listeners.
I'm going to have to ask Coach Harding what he likes, what kind of music he likes. Because I'm going to go back and play God's Country, from John Samuel Schenker. Yeah, no. I don't know no Pump It Up. I live in a little country music, southern rock vacuum, so I don't know nothing about no Pump It Up. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Joining us now, a guy that does a tremendous job, and he has himself a live one over there with his team. Buckhorn basketball coach Patrick Harding joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, welcome in. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you guys for having me.
I appreciate you jumping on with us here, and got started with with a pretty easy win on Tuesday night. Got a game tomorrow night against Hartzell, and then Bob Jones game next Tuesday. It'll be the first game that we have here with you guys, as we'll be doing a minimum of 10 games, and then hopefully some additional ones, some tournament games, and so on. We'll see how all of that works out. But we're really excited, Coach, and it looks like you got a really exciting team here, a mix of veterans and one super freshman, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a really, really fun group to coach. We have 7 seniors that are all a really close-knit group and have played a lot of basketball together. And then we have some young players that are extremely talented, and it's just a really good fit. I think the chemistry of the group is fantastic, and we've been really pleased with the preparation so far.
Caleb Holt. We talk about Buckhorn basketball. I can't not talk about Caleb Holt. Started for you last year as an 8th grader. He was listed last year as a 6'5" small forward as a 14-year-old. Now he's listed as a 6'6". You playing him in the backcourt? I mean, what's the deal there? Where are you playing him right now?
Well, he can play anywhere. I mean,
anywhere. Driving the bus. As soon as he gets his license, he can drive the bus.
We're not going to let him drive. But he is our best ball handler and a great passer. So yes, he's definitely a perimeter player. And he's really worked hard. He was good last year, but you can really tell, and a lot of these guys have really put in some more. You can really tell he's worked on his body and he's worked on his shooting. He comes in every morning 6 a.m. and he's getting hundreds of shots up. This morning he come in and we had a Veterans Day program set up and he couldn't shoot and he pounded the basketball for quite a while out there this morning. He's just a really determined kid and a lot of fun to watch. He really is.
You know, that's where the real greatness comes, right? When you got a natural talent, we see so many kids that come through are naturally talented, they don't do the work. But when you got a great talent that also loves to put in the work, now you got something, right?
Yeah, I guess, and he's this is my 33rd year, and he's the most talented kid I've had the pleasure of coaching. And it's nearly demeaning when you hear someone say, man, he's got a lot of God-given ability. He does, but he really, really works at it. And people need to understand a lot. These kids, they put in a lot of work, and Caleb's the hardest worker we have.
So talk about that dynamic when you've got a superstar freshman like this. You mentioned the 6 or 7 seniors that you have on this team as well. And Terrence Robinson comes right over from the football team, and he does a great job for you, and all of these other seniors that you have. How does that work in the locker room, emotionally? I mean, as far as the olders and the youngers, I think about it like my kids. You know what I mean? I got older kids, and then we had a 7-year gap, and then we had 4 more kids. So I've got the olders and the youngers, and they seem to get along for the most part. But on a basketball team, when all of these alpha males in the locker room, how does that work when you've got a kid that's as young as Caleb is and is also, one of the best players in the country?
Yeah, that's a great point. When you watch them play, you can't tell the ages of kids, but when you get in the locker room or on the bus, you kind of figure out real quick who the older ones and the younger ones are. I happen to have a good bit of experience with this. When I was at Albertville, 2010 through 2014, I coached Riley Norris. He was a 9th grader, and we had 2 groups above him, the 11 and 12 class that had 7 or 8 kids in that class. So he was he was fitting in with older kids. It's something you kind of keep an eye on. Riley was a really mature kid for his age and was a coach's son. So he handled it and navigated it well, and it wasn't much for us to handle. Then I had Trinity Bell later on, who was he started for us as an 8th grader at Albertville as well. And you do have to manage some of that, and you talk to your older kids too about it. But it hasn't been a thing here. And Caleb, him being his 2nd year here, he's a well-traveled young man. He's played with a lot of different groups. He plays up to 2 ages in AAU, or did this past summer. So he adapts well.
I looked at some of his AAU film, and it was absolutely amazing. Kids like that can be very difficult to coach. You just said he is the most talented kid you've ever had in your 30-some-odd years of coaching. But I get the sense that he makes it easy for you. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like he's out there big time and everybody, and you don't know what the future holds for him, obviously within the program and outside of the program. But it seems like I know you've talked in the past about how well-grounded he is and how his family is, and he makes it easy for you. He's not a difficult kid for you to manage.
Absolutely not. I get the question a lot from other coaches, hey, what's it like coaching him? And you hear nightmares sometimes about prima donnas, and that he's the furthest thing from that. He's a great teammate. He's really worked on his leadership skills, and he's becoming more vocal. He's an encourager. Like I said earlier, he's our hardest worker. So there's not any downside to coaching a kid like Caleb. Certainly, we just want to help him in areas that we feel like we can help him, and make points here and there to make him a better player and a better person and a better teammate. I guess when you're the best player on the team and maybe a player like Caleb, it would be easy to try to take over or do too much, and take over may not be the right word, because we do want him to be aggressive and play free and loose, but kind of helping where, hey, this was a time where maybe we should have done something else. We shot it too quick there, or something like that. But he had 6 assists in 15 minutes Tuesday night. He led us in points and rebounds and assists and deflections and steals. He's just a well-rounded player.
Well, that was you said he was a great passer, so that was going to be my next question, is that, if this guy is such a great passer and so on, he's a guy that has a heart to get everybody involved. I mean, we know about the great players like the Magic Johnsons and even LeBron and all their careers where these guys could score 50 a night if they wanted to, but they involved their entire team by being great passers as well. Is that his game? Does he enjoy hitting a guy on a little no look or a cutter, a backdoor guy? Does he enjoy that as much as he does knocking a shot down?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he tries to make the right basketball play. That's what coaches strive to get their players to do, and he's always making the extra pass when he needs to. And moving forward for him, if a college or university needed him to be the defensive stopper on the team, he would do really well at that. If they need him to run offense and get players involved, he certainly could do that. He's got those qualities.
In the open of the show, I said only half jokingly, go see him now. I mean, get out there and see that kid now, because there's no guarantee that he'll be, over there bouncing it around in Newmarket for the next 4 years. I mean, these prep schools are going to be all over a guy like this. How do you block that out and block all the noise out around him, because he's already been offered by, half the schools in the SEC. Everybody's going to be on the guy. How do you help him manage his time? He's a student still, he's got a, all of these things. He'll be recruited as a high schooler to go to, one of these prep schools. And then he's also being recruited by big time colleges and so on. How do you help him manage his time? Again, he's 15 years old, I guess,
Yeah. Well, in Caleb's case, he's got 2 very grounded parents who understand the process. And to the prep school point, if prep school is the best thing for Caleb and his development, that's what we want as educators. Now, I think that we do a good job here, but there's probably some place where maybe there's something that someone can offer that maybe we can't. But everything we can do here for these kids, we try to do it, and we're always trying to grow and promote and be the best high school basketball program we can be. But his parents are very well grounded and know, who he is and what he can be, and they've kept him humble and kept him grounded, and so I don't worry a whole lot about that. I really don't look that far ahead and worry about those kind of things.
All right, so we got a lot of listeners that are Alabama fans and that are Auburn fans. We even have some Tennessee fans. So my question is this, not any leans or any of that kind of stuff. just as a kid, do you know if he rolls with the tide or is he War Eagle? You know what I mean? I mean, you ever see him like walking around the halls? He's got an Alabama hat on. I mean, he's got to be a fan of somebody. You can't be born and raised in Newmarket, Alabama, and not be a fan of one of the big schools in the state.
Well, he's a Georgia fan.
Oh my gosh, he's been offered by Georgia too, right? So,
yes, sir.
What's his tie to Georgia? Is his family from there? Or did he grow? What's
yes,
he doing
sir.
with that?
His parents are from there. But kids today, they follow players as much as they do teams in basketball. So,
right.
There's a lot of programs out there. Some that he's mentioned that he would like and be interested in who haven't offered yet. And it's still really early in the process. And Alabama and Auburn have both done a great job recruiting.
Yeah, I think Georgia, Ole Miss are on him too. They've offered him. Coach Petway, I think, is his recruiter from Alabama. Now we don't have. I get confused because it's the NIL, landscape is just so mind-numbing, if you will. But our high school kids are not eligible now at this particular point in time. Do you fear? I mean, there are certain states that allow high school kids to have NIL. Do you fear losing a kid for something like that, where, if I go over to Georgia, I can make some money, or if I go to California, whatever. Is that another thing now that you have to deal with, that some states have it and some don't, for even high school kids?
Well, Tom, I can't do anything about it, so I don't really worry about it much. We've thought about it, talked about it. Alabama does not allow students to profit. They would lose their amateur status with a high school athletic association. There has been, I got a text message from another coach in the state that's pretty well connected, said there may be some change to that, but I don't, change comes slow. And so I don't know that that's something that is going to happen anytime soon.
All right, so we mentioned Terrence Robinson. Give me some names of some of the other guys that you're expecting great contribution from, that folks will be hearing about on our airways when Bailey and John are down there broadcasting the games. I'm going to slip into some of them too, because I just want to see this team play. And so many of these guys, you got several of them that played on the football team as well, so people might know the names, Austin Childress and Jordan Lindsay and some of those other guys. But tell me some of the other guys that you're expecting good things from this year.
Yeah, sure. We have a pretty deep roster. We hope to play, 10, 11 guys a night.
Wow.
Jeremiah Wilson's a sophomore. He's 6'4", and he can really shoot the basketball. He's a Division I type athlete and prospect. He's got a Division I offer. I'm looking at a roster here. Fred Derrick is a sophomore point guard. Can really shoot the ball and pass the ball. And we've got a slew of seniors that are just really good high school players. Carter Malaris is a very good shooter. Kyler Douglas, that you call these football games, is a really good leader for us, plays very good defense. We just have several guys that, we feel like Josh Barnes has had a really good offseason. He's a little 5'9" guard and broke a bone in his wrist right when practice was starting. But in August and September was really making strides. And we feel like when we get him back, we can plug him in and he can do some good things for us as well. Our juniors are Austin Childress and Jackson Ramsey. Jackson's one of our captains. And if you got 7 seniors on your team and they choose a junior to be a captain, that says a lot about the young man. He can really shoot the ball. He played a great game at East Limestone the other night. Just on film, after watching it, he was where he's supposed to be doing what he's supposed to be doing. And in the first game, that seldom happens, but he graded out real well. So we got a lot of guys, and just good, solid high school players. Besides, Caleb and Jeremiah are college prospects, and we've got some other guys that are young, like Fred and Jordan Lindsay and Devin Chapman, who are sophomores, that have aspirations of playing college too, and have that ability.
Now, does T-Rob play down low for you still? I mean, he's only 6'1", but he's a beast, right? I mean, he's so physical. Yeah. So you can play him down on the block at 6'1". He can still play down low.
Absolutely. He was a key for us last year. I mean, he came out of nowhere. He didn't do anything with us in June, and kind of walked in the gym, said, "I want to play," and we said, "Yeah, go play football, and when you get finished, come over here." He didn't know anything about anything in November, and by January he was, scoring 10, 12, 15 points in some area games, and was a big part of our season last year, and had a great June. When you got athletes like Terrence and Austin, they can play bigger than 6'1", 6'2", and we switch a lot, and we can, we're very balanced in our size. Our guards and sometimes wings are bigger than our post players, but those cats are good athletes and are a big part of hopefully our success moving forward.
Well, he had 1,100 yards rushing with the football team, so you just got to make sure he keeps dribbling the ball because he's liable to just snap back, grab the ball and just start running over people, and got to bounce that ball and keep moving. So this will be good stuff. Bob Jones in the gym on Tuesday night. We'll have that game. Tell us, just give us a brief synopsis. What are we looking at with this Bob Jones 7A team? We'll give us a quick scouting report on what you expect to see out of them.
Yeah. Well, they've played one game so far. They lost to Grissom, who's probably one of the better 7A teams in the state. I actually think Bob Jones and Grissom are both really good. Probably ranked most of the year in 7A. Bob Jones looked great in June. They had some kids transfer in. They have a big kid this year that's transferred in. Got some shooters. Luther Teagues does a good job with them. They're playing more man-to-man, and they'll pressure more this year. They got a shot blocker behind them, so they'll get out and pressure you. Because we play Hartsville tomorrow, I haven't looked at Bob Jones yet. I'll do that this weekend. But saw them this summer, and they beat us this summer. They're a pretty good team. We'll have our work cut out for us, certainly.
That was a good answer there, that you haven't looked at them yet because you're playing Hartsville. But, we're peeking ahead because it's a game we got. But that was a good answer by you. All right, good stuff. Patrick Hardy will be joining us all season long, talking about how this team develops. Big expectations here. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch them, and you want to get out there, get down to the gym, and see those guys play as well. Coach, I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Patrick Hardy. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back, and we'll set you up for hour number 2. We do have a Beat the Big Dog coming up a little bit later on as well today, and you're going to have the opportunity to hear from one of our experts, Steve Merrill, before Beat the Big Dog. So maybe that'll help you beat me. Maybe you can get my tickets to the Music City Bowl. We'll see. We'll be back with more right after this. It's Thom Abraham Show. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Saturday, November 12th in Jasper, Alabama, just minutes from Lewis Smith Lake, prime riverfront property will be offered at a one-day liquidation sales event. Getting killed in the stock market? Buy something real, something you can enjoy with your family today. Buy waterfront. This RV-friendly gated community has great kayaking, fishing, and wildlife, along with a large community area for social gatherings. Estate-sized parcels from $29.9 and direct waterfront parcels from $79.9. Prime waterfront properties on rushing water in a gated, gorgeous setting. Individual RV sites with utility hookups, no time limit to build, minutes from shopping, hospital, schools, and neighboring a beautiful country club. One-day liquidation sale November 12th. Estate-sized parcels from $29.9 or direct waterfront parcels from $79.9. Call or click 877bigview.com for more information and to schedule an appointment. Don't miss this amazing opportunity on estate-size or waterfront parcels. That's 877-BIG-VIEW. Call or click 877bigview.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com. Take it to the house this football season with the Alabama Manufactured Housing Association. If Alabama or Auburn returns their first received kickoff in the second half or a touchdown at a home SEC game, one lucky fan will win a $75,000 down payment towards the purchase of a manufactured home from an authorized AMHA dealer. Don't miss your chance to take it to the house this season and win a beautiful manufactured home. Register to win today at auburntigers.com/take-it-to-the-house or rolltide.com/take-it-to-the-house. Certain terms and conditions may apply. To learn more, visit ALAMHA.org.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on at advancedlifeclinic.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
November in Alabama means one thing.
Alabama and this SEC football arch rival meet in the Iron Bowl.
The Iron Bowl.
What is Arkansas?
Nope. Listen for full coverage of the Iron Bowl right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Correct response, what is Auburn?
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show brought to you by our good friends at Woody Anderson Ford. At Woody Anderson Ford, their service department can take care of you in every way possible. I mean, doesn't matter if you got a Ford or not. and it is spectacular. It looks like a NASCAR garage when you go in there. The service techs really know so much. I mean, the people that are checking you in, it's amazing. The people that check you in know so much. I mean, that's what's a wonderful thing as well as you go in there. Of course, the showroom over there is spectacular as well. And don't be afraid to go over there and shop on a Saturday because they're going to have football on their big, huge wall of TVs right there at the showroom as well. And look, the certified gold pre-owned vehicles are spectacular. So check those out at Woody Anderson Ford as well. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com, learn more about that, and then Woody Anderson of Madison as well. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, Steve Merrill is going to join us. And we'll talk about I'll tell you what, I can tell you right now, in Beat the Big Dog, there's 4 SEC games that are significant. We're going to talk about those with Steve Merrill. We'll probably get a feeling from him for tonight's game, too, as the Falcons and the Panthers get together. Where is that game? Is that in
it's at Carolina.
Charlotte? Yeah. Critical game for the Falcons. Stay in this hunt for the NFC South that's going to be won but 9 games. First one to 9 games wins it.
Go Dirty Birds.
That's the way it's going to go. All right, Steve Merrill is next. We got lots to get to in the next hour of the show as well. On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
With Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get top brand laundry sets with the latest tech to tackle any mess you might face this holiday, like automatic fabric and load size detection for spills of any size, from cookies and milk on your favorite holiday sweater to the toddler of the house discovering just how fun cranberry sauce can be. Make more magic this holiday season. Let your new appliances handle the mess. Shop Black Friday savings and get up to 30% off, plus instantly save up to $750 on select LG laundry sets at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid November 2nd through 30th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Nike co-founder Phil Knight told CNBC today the relationship between Nets guard Kyrie Irving and Nike is likely severed for good. Knight said he doubts they'd go back, but he doesn't know for sure. Nike announced last Friday it suspended its relationship with Irving and canceled its plans to release his next signature shoe, part of the massive fallout that followed his tweet sharing a link to a film containing anti-Semitic material. That's part of the fallout. Irving's annual endorsement deal with Nike is believed to be worth at least $11 million. Lakers team doctors today will evaluate LeBron James and administer medical imaging to determine the extent of the injury he sustained last night. James said it was a groin injury. Astros righty Justin Verlander opting out of his $25 million option for 2023. He is now one of the best free agent pitchers available on the market.
Listen to Madison Academy football all season long.
And it is covered up by the Mustangs in the end zone. Touchdown Madison Academy. Touchdown Madison Academy.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Thom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Oh, won't you stick with me, baby? I'm going to make a lot of bread. I mean both money and actual bread. But right now I need dough, 'cause my delivery truck's dead. And by dough I mean money. Trucks don't run on bread.
Owning a small business isn't always as lovely as it sounds, but with personalized discounts that save you money, Progressive Commercial keeps you humming along. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
I need more dough. Need with an N. I need more dough. Need with a K.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
College football, Alabama ranked 10th in the latest college football playoff rankings after their loss to LSU Saturday. The Crimson Tide at Ole Miss this week, coming into Oxford a 12-point favorite. Auburn hosting Texas A&M. The Tigers a 2-point favorite at home. NBA tonight, the Hawks playing their first of 2 in a row against the Sixers. Atlanta the home team tonight and a 1.5-point favorite. 222.5 is the over-under. NFL Thursday night, an NFC South tilt. The Falcons a 2.5-point favorite at the Panthers. 42 the total. The 3-6 Saints a 2.5-point favorite at the Steelers. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. An increase in cloud cover through the heart of the afternoon and then early into the evening. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s, dropping into the upper 50s and lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Showers and thunderstorms should develop across the Tennessee Valley during that time frame and stick with us at least through the early part of the afternoon on Friday. With that in mind, temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler, highs hanging out in the upper 60s and lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Listen to the North Alabama High School Scoreboard Show, presented by Woody Anderson Ford, each Friday night on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. Guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
On the NFL Live show on ESPN, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. Steve Merrill will be joining us here in just a moment. They're asking a question that if the Packers lose on Sunday to drop to 3 and what would they be? 3-6, 3-7, something like that. If they were to lose that game on Sunday, should Aaron Rodgers be benched? If the Packers fall to 3-7, should Aaron Rodgers be benched so that they look at Jordan Love for the rest of the season? You don't bench Aaron Rodgers. It's a 4-time MVP.
Awful.
I don't care what Aaron Rodgers does. You don't bench Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they'll have plenty of time to decide what they're going to do in the future with Jordan Love. But no. That's ridiculous. And bench that guy, Grizz? What are you, nuts?
No. And I do have a little problem with the way that he kind of like, I get it, he kind of demands, like he wants greatness around him, like he wants everybody to play, to like this exceptional level.
Tom Brady does the same thing. I mean, every great quarterback does that.
I think it just looks bad when he goes on I just think he looks bad when he goes on like Pat McAfee show, for instance, and he just kind of like throws his teammates under the bus a little bit. I mean, it's like, I get it, they haven't done anything for him, but also it's like the other question is, it's just like, is it more of him butting heads with everyone around him? Because they have like a two-headed monster at running back that they could use, and they don't even do that. And it's just like
their running back's pretty good.
Well, I just feel like that. I feel like that they just because when you're talking about like how like offenses, like especially like Alabama, for instance, they're just going to sit there and like we talked about in the LSU game, you're going to throw it 50-something times with Bryce Young because he's the star player. When you've got another player that is a star player and can win you ball games too if you give him 25 to 30 carries a game.
I think they are running the ball a lot. I think if you look at right now so far this season, he knows what the limitations are in the passing game. I mean, and they have been running the ball, quite a bit. That last game or the game before that, they just ran it over and over and over again, and they weren't even trying really to pass the ball much. Because I think he believes in what the limitations are. The only way he's sitting down is if there's a conversation though with Matt LaFleur, and it's like if he were to announce that he was retiring or something like that. But that dude plays. I mean, you just play him to the end. Aaron Rodgers is not the problem with the Green Bay Packers. I don't believe. All right. So, but we'll see what happens. And are they in the bigger question is, did we put it in the Beat the Big Dog, which is coming up in the next segment of the show. So you're going to have an opportunity to hear a little bit about what Steve Merrill from Pro Sports Info thinks on these games, because you don't know yet. You don't know if it's in Beat the Big Dog. You just don't. All right? And I'm just going to tell you right now, be careful with me. Do not trifle with me. I usually get that fast start, and then I end up struggling down the stretch. I am hot as a pistol. 11-1 in my last 12 selections. And the one I missed was the Falcons plus 2.5 against the Chargers. Okay? And they got beat on a field goal as time ran out. That's how close I was to having back-to-back 6-0 weeks in Beat the Big Dog. All right? So just be careful with me at this particular point in time. All right, we are joined now by Steve Merrill. He of Pro Sports Info, and he joins us on a Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. Steve, welcome back. How are you?
Hey, Tom, doing well.
So am I. I'm in one of those runs, Steve. I'm 8-0 in my last 9-0 in my last 9 college picks, and overall 11-1 the last 2 weeks against the spread. I'm in one of them. I'm in one of those runs. You know those runs. You got to maximize those good runs when you have them, because you don't know when it's going to end.
No question about it. And I've been seeing college wells also. I think 71% the last 3 Saturdays, 12-5, almost 13-4 actually. And I'm with you. I mean, I know you started really fast last year, but I kind of like this time of year better. I mean, college football, we have a couple months of data. We also kind of get some teams that are tanking, not tanking, but are underperforming teams are a little undervalued going the other way. And it's a great time of year. November is probably my favorite month to be betting college football.
I was 24-9 at one point last year, early in the season. The year before, the last 3 years, I started out really quick, and then it got really difficult near the end. This year, I was underwater for the longest time, and now 30-24 in the Beat the Big Dog picks. But as you know, these are games that we talk about that are ones that wouldn't necessarily be our best pick of the week. They just happen to be the ones that people are most interested in. So that's why we talk about some of these games. I faded Alabama at LSU last week, and here they are, 11.5-point favorite. I faded them against Tennessee. Too many points. I'm not feeling Alabama on the road. They did do well at Arkansas, but 11.5-point favorite at Ole Miss. It just feels a little bit rich. I think Alabama wins that football game, but it could be a 3 or 4-point football game. What are you thinking about Alabama minus 11.5 at Ole Miss?
Yeah, I've actually given you credit a lot of times this week when I've talked about this at wagertalk.com on different shows. I said when I talked to Tom Abraham earlier this season. He said that, Bama's weaker on the road, and one of the reasons is because they check at the line of scrimmage a lot, and they've had more trouble, obviously, the last 2 years in hostile environments, and that's obviously been the case. And just big picture, they've actually kind of beaten up on the weak sisters this year. Their point spread success has mostly been in blowouts as, 4 or 5 touchdown favorites. They've obviously struggled, lost outright a lot twice now in competitively priced games. And I think this is another spot in which Ole Miss isn't just live at plus 12. They're live to win this game outright. It would not be a shock, just like LSU winning outright last week as a 13.5-point dog. In fact, I used LSU last week as a free play, my free play of the week on Saturday at wagertalk.com. Be sure to check that out this Saturday for another free college football play. And I think Ole Miss, once again, is a live dog this week, just like LSU was. You also do worry about the mindset of Alabama after that second loss. Pretty much knocks them out, most likely, from national title contention. That's something that's always a concern when handicapping college football. And also, Ole Miss isn't exactly just needing a letdown. They could hang in this game on their own. An explosive offensive team that averages, 7.5 yards per play, or 6.5 yards per play this year, 37 points a game. And they actually rush for more yards per game than Alabama, so a very strong running game as well. And then on top of that, my math simulation favors Alabama by just 9.5 points in this game. So I definitely like Ole Miss at plus 12 this week.
We talked last week about staggering numbers, FPI, a lot of the data-driven stuff, and it really is amazing that even with the 2 losses now, Sagarin's ratings and the the FPI, ESPN's FPI Football Power Index still has Alabama at 3. And they were 2 close losses. I mean, they were both last play losses, no doubt about it, but they were, 24-point combined favorite in those 2 games that they ended up losing outright. But whatever reason, the data continues to show Alabama as a strong team that has been upset a couple of times.
No, it's not a surprise. Right now, if you look at the power ratings that most odds makers and sports books are using, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama would be almost a touchdown favorite against anybody else on a neutral field. It's been that way all season. And that's the thing. The rankings obviously change a lot faster based on a win or loss than the power ratings do. And I still think Alabama is as talented as anyone in the country. In fact, a lot of power ratings have Ohio State ahead of Georgia, which is kind of hard to figure because Georgia looked pretty darn good last week against a good Tennessee team.
Right.
But, yeah, those 3 teams are heads and above everybody else, and they've been projected as the 3 playoff teams all season. So that's why Bama getting that second loss has really opened up the window for so many programs. Because now they're not just fighting for that 4th spot, they're fighting for 2 of the final 4 spots now that Alabama is somewhat out of the picture.
It feels like maybe 3. There's 3 frauds in here. Everybody knew TCU was going to be 4. They're also 7.5-point dog this week at Texas, for God's sakes. But yet their number, they're in the playoff if the playoff were to start now. But Sagarin has them. His power ratings have them 13th in their 4. Southern California is number 8 in the college football playoff, 14th in the Sagarin ratings, and Clemson at 10 is 15th. Those are pretenders. TCU, Southern Cal, and Clemson, I think, are all pretenders. What's your take on TCU, whether or not they really belong, with those other 3 in the top 4?
Yeah, and by the way, with the Sagarins, and I agree, by the way, I think that's a really good spot to go. It's a very simple way to get a pretty accurate look at what the power ratings would be from the odds makers. But just if you're looking at the website version, there's a couple different columns. There's one called the Golden Mean, which is basically just wins and losses. That's kind of like the AP poll. And then they have what's called Predictor, which is basically closer to what the power rating would be for point spread projections. Right. The overall Sagarin rating, like you see in the newspapers, is a combo of those 2. So, yeah, TCU is 13th in the overall rating. They're 8th in the straight-up rating, but they're only 18th in what the odds makers would use, the power rating. So They're even weaker than 13th in the Sagarin. In fact, if you look at them versus Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, they'd be almost a 14-point underdog on a neutral field. So it just shows, once again, how those playoff rankings are not accurate. And, of course, Tennessee was number 1 last week, and they were an 8-point dog at Georgia, who was below them in the rankings. I made them a 12-point dog, had a strong best bet on Georgia. So I like the playoff rankings, Tom, because you actually can find some good bets if the public overreacts to them.
What about Missouri getting 20.5 at Tennessee? So Tennessee, they only slipped to 5 in the college football playoff, and that is more an indictment on everything else. They're like, well, who the hell are you going to put ahead of them? You know what I mean? You can't put Oregon ahead of them. They played better against Georgia than even Oregon did. You can't put some of these other people ahead of them. So they slipped to 5, which is kind of the catbird seat. As soon as whether it's the Michigan-Ohio State loser or whether it's TCU getting whacked by Texas and or Baylor, whatever it is, they could very easily slip back into the 4. But here they are coming off their first loss. Missouri comes in kind of sneaky gritty. Remember, they played Georgia really tough earlier in the year. What do you think about Missouri getting 20.5?
Yeah, normally you worry about that bubble burst game for Tennessee as the number 1 team in the rankings. They lose, but I'm sure they realize their season is not over. Now, I do think there could be a little bit of a hangover because that's a tough game against Georgia, and then more so you're laying 3 touchdowns now. It's not like they have to win by 3 touchdowns. They just pretty much have to win the game by, 1 or 2 touchdowns to hold their spot. But they definitely have to realize their season is still full throttle forward because TCU is going to lose a game at some point, most likely. They're not going to be top 4. They don't deserve to be, at least. Ohio State and Michigan play. They have to lose a game, one of those 2 teams. So Tennessee, they're going to pass TCU just because TCU will probably lose at some point, and they could even pass either Michigan or Ohio State. So Tennessee has a ton to play for. And then on top of that, the biggest takeaway is that their loss came on the road against probably the best team in the country in Georgia, who was, by the way, number 1 in the AP poll last week, even though they weren't in the playoff rankings. So Tennessee has plenty to play for. That'd be the only way I'd want to play this game. I'm not getting in front of one of the best teams in the country in what should be a focus spot.
Another one that's very interesting, and this one to the Alabama and Ole Miss folks, including the teams themselves, this could have a profound impact on the Alabama-Ole Miss game. It's so much so that I would be very reticent to get down on Alabama-Ole Miss until I know what happened in the 11 o'clock Central game between LSU and Arkansas. Now, LSU comes off this emotional win. They're in position right now, clear path to Atlanta in the SEC. All they got to do is go to Arkansas and win, go to Texas A&M and win. Well, first things first, Arkansas is coming off a horrific, embarrassing loss to Liberty, but Arkansas does not suck. And LSU's a 3.5-point favorite at Arkansas. If Arkansas knocks off LSU, all of a sudden, Ole Miss has a clear path if they win. And if Alabama wins, they're one more LSU loss away from sneaking back into Atlanta. It's crazy, but this game goes before the 2:30 Central Time game in Oxford. What do you think about LSU laying 3.5 at Arkansas?
I think the line is too high, and this is definitely an example of what you brought up there, that based on last week's results, there's now value with Arkansas. First of all, they're coming off a loss as a 2-touchdown home favorite against Liberty, and then LSU's coming off a win as a 2-touchdown home dog against Alabama. And my power ratings, my math simulation has this game at 2.5. The current line is 3.5. I even see some -4s out there. And I think you could also make from a setups perspective, this is definitely a possible flat spot for LSU after that huge upset of Alabama last week, whereas it's a bounce back spot for Arkansas. And then you look at Arkansas as a whole, like you said, they're better than just 5-4. Offensively, 6.5 yards per play, so very potent offense, 9 yards per pass. So there's always some backdoor cover potential as well to sneak within that number late if they're down by, say, 7 or 10 points. The concern, though, is the defense. The LSU does hold the defensive edge, but there again, they come a little hungover. I think that shows more on the defensive side. So I think Arkansas gets some points in this game, definitely keeps it close, and probably wins it outright.
The way that would be something, because then that makes the final week very, depending on who won, Alabama or Ole Miss, that makes the final weekend critical because Alabama will be playing Auburn, and they'll be a huge favorite in that game at home, and LSU will be playing Texas A&M. Now, we don't know what the heck to think of Texas A&M. There's no way that's a 3-6 football team, except for it's a 3-6 football team, and they're at Auburn. I had Auburn last week. I talked about the first game with the new coach. It was very dicey at the beginning. The first half of that game was like, oh my God. I guess that theory didn't work out, but they came out with their hair on fire in the second half, actually took the lead in the football game before losing in overtime. So now Auburn is at home against Texas A&M, and lo and behold, Auburn's a 1.5-point favorite. I didn't think Auburn would be a favorite in another game this year except for Western Kentucky, and here they are, a 1.5-point favorite. Who do we trust in this game between 2, 3, and 6 teams?
Yeah, 2, 3, and 6 teams, 2 teams off 5 straight losses, so obviously a disappointing season for both of them. But I think there is a bright spot with Auburn, as you mentioned, with the changes, the fact they were competitive at Mississippi State last week. I think they're still playing hard, whereas I'm not sure that's the case anymore with Texas A&M. They lose outright as a slight favorite by 17 against Florida at home, and now they're on the road. I don't see them all of a sudden getting up for this game at Auburn. I think Auburn will be more focused, the fact that it is a home game, and I do think they're still playing harder than A&M. And A&M also had bigger picture aspirations this preseason, right? They definitely did not expect to be at 3-6. So I like the setup for Auburn. And then when I ran the simulations in my database, 10,000 game simulations, average win, surprisingly, Auburn by 5.5. So I do think there's some value with the Tigers laying the short number.
I agree with you. I think they take that carryover, whatever happened in the second half, and they'll carry it right in to this game. And we have one of the Auburn captains, John Samuel Shanker, the tight end, that joins us every Monday on the show. And he just talked about the good vibe, in the room, and loose players usually play really, really well. All right, give me one on Sunday. The one I want is the one that it's sports eye candy. You put these two teams on the field together on the natural grass, the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. Hopefully they're wearing their regular uniforms. They won't look like an Arena League team or something like that out there. They'll be looking like the Cowboys and the Packers. The Cowboys a 4.5, 5-point favorite on the road in Green Bay. Green Bay circling the drain at 3-6. Can they summon something up here against the Cowboys?
Yeah, I was laughing a couple of weeks ago when I was watching the World Series. Fox was running ads, I believe, 2 weeks ago promoting this game as like the matchup of the year, and I'm like, my goodness, that ad was obviously made several months ago, probably in the preseason, because Dallas is actually playing a lot better than expected. This looked like their season was over, obviously, when Prescott went down early, and they were able to get some wins there with the backup, and now he's playing again. They've put up 73 points the last 2 weeks. They did have the bye, actually, the last 3 weeks because they had the bye last week. So you do wonder if the bye came at a good time or not for Dallas. Green Bay definitely could have used the bye week, and they have not had theirs yet. I believe it comes I'm not sure when Green Bay's had their bye. I don't think they've had it yet, and it must come really late. Either that, they had it really early because it's not anywhere in the next couple of weeks. They've got the Thursday game before Thanksgiving against Tennessee coming up on deck, by the way, in just a few nights. The problem with Green Bay is, it looks like a focused spot, but, do you trust this offense? They've scored 17 or less now in 3 of their last 4 games. They took on one of the worst defenses in the NFL last week and only put up 9 points. Now, that was a little misleading. They had 3 turnovers in that game, and they had almost 400 yards of total offense. So the 9 points was very misleading. Maybe we get some value now with Green Bay for that reason. And from a look-ahead perspective, this summer the bettable line was Green Bay -4, and now it's basically +5. So if Green Bay is going to save their season, it probably does have to come this afternoon on Sunday.
Always a pleasure. Tremendous stuff. Wager Talk TV is where you find them. ProSportsInfo.com is where you find them. Tell them when they can check out your next video.
Yeah, WagerTalk.com, Wager Talk TV on YouTube. Download the free app, Wager Talk TV app for your favorite mobile device. And the videos I'd recommend checking out, did a lot of shows today. They're archived there right now. But on Friday nights, I do a college football top 25 video. I give you my power ratings and analysis for every one of the top 25 head-to-head matchups. And then the most popular video of the week, almost 20,000 views every week, is on Saturday afternoons, the NFL Fade the Public video, which has hit over 60% the last couple of seasons, just simply fading the most public plays in the NFL. Check that out on Wager Talk TV on YouTube. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
That's a lot of hits for a video. You know what I mean? That's really
especially
pretty
like
strong.
on a one-day period, because it's basically after Monday or Tuesday, 0 views after that because it's done. It's old information.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, as always, we appreciate you. Great stuff. Steve Merrill has been our guest. Steve, I appreciate you, man.
Hey, thanks, Tom.
All right, so now you got his opinion on some of these games, and some of these games that will be in our Beat the Big Dog, which is coming up right after this. Right now, though, you can pick up your telephone, and you could dial 256-576-4997 to play Beat the Big Dog. And you need to be caller number 3. That's right. Caller number 3 gets you in right now to play Beat the Big Dog. You can win tickets to the TransPerfect Music City Bowl if you can take me down on these games. We've got 6 big games for you, 5 college and 1 NFL, I think is what I got in there. So if you want to be caller number 3 right now at 256-576-4977, play Beat the Big Dog for tickets to the TransPerfect Music City Bowl right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
The Huntsville Sports Commission, a not-for-profit organization, is driven by the love of sports. November brings some great sporting events to the Rocket City, including the AVCA Fall Collegiate Beach Championships, November 4th through 6th, the Gulf South Conference Soccer Championship, November 3rd through 6th, and the NCAA Division I Regional Cross Country Championships, November 10th and 11th. For the love of sports, the Huntsville Sports Commission. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution to your specific needs. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. An increase in cloud cover through the heart of the afternoon and then early into the evening. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s, dropping into the upper 50s and lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Showers and thunderstorms should develop across the Tennessee Valley during that time frame and stick with us at least through the early part of the afternoon on Friday. With that in mind, temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler, highs hanging out in the upper 60s and lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Today's Meet the Big Dog is brought to you by our good friends at North Alabama Mortgage. At North Alabama Mortgage, they're going to put you in the right product to get you pre-approved for your mortgage so that you can go out and look at a property, so that you can make an offer on a property, and so that your offer could be seriously considered in its very competitive times. And they're going to make sure that you get the best rate that they can possibly get for you as well. The biggest thing is that, look, regardless of rate, regardless of anything else, They're going to get you through this process, which to some people is very scary, but they're going to get you through it, and they're going to walk you through it cleanly and quickly as possible. I have used North Alabama Mortgage, was extremely happy with Brian Hammaker and his whole crew. They just do such a great job. They're so personable. And I also want to say this about North Alabama Mortgage. This is a company that steps up and helps us in everything that we do. All right, Army football, the Crawdads Countdown to Kickoff, Madison Academy football, Bassmaster, whatever it is that we're doing, I can ask North Alabama Mortgage to help out, and they help out. Oh, we're having a charity event. Boom, they're in. That's just the way they are at North Alabama Mortgage. They do a tremendous, tremendous job.
You know, there are rules to success, my friend. Rule number one is know what you know what you don't know, and know that I gotta know everything you know as soon as you know it.
I'm talking about now a little bit of Beat the Big Dog coming up now. Lunchtime version, our first one that we've done in the lunchtime show, moving back to this time. Bama James is going to be in. I don't think he's a lemon. He'll be a lemon. I don't think he's a lemon.
I don't know how to say this without sounding a little rude, but you're a lemon.
No, I don't think he's a lemon. I'm going to say no to that. All right, so Bama James, welcome in, Bama James. Haven't heard from you in a minute. How are you?
Doing great, Tom. How are you?
I am fantastic. Now, did you follow the show back to the noon to 2 time slot, or were you with us when we were doing it 10 to noon, and then you just jumped in listening now too?
No. I have been listening to you for a long time.
I've done every day part. You've listened to me do mornings, middays, afternoons, and afternoon drive probably.
I do.
Multiple stations besides, so there's that. All right, so the way this works is we're going to alternate the games, and so that we don't have the exact same picks all the way down through. And when you make your pick, before you make your pick, you get to hear from Grizz the Greek and see if that's any help to you. It may or it may not be help to you. So I have in front of me 4 college games and 2 NFL games. Do you want to pick first on the first game, or do you want to pick first on the second game?
I'll go first.
All right, so you're going first, which means you're going to hear from Grizz. So first you'll hear from Grizz, then you're picking, and my pick, and then we'll reverse the order. All right, Grizz. Okay. All right, Mr. Nask, the Huntsville City FC there.
Huntsville City FC.
All right, here we go.
Football club.
You got Texas A&M plus 1.5 at Auburn.
Oh, gosh, no. I think they're going to make another flu excuse, and Auburn at home.
So you're taking Auburn?
Yeah, Auburn at home.
All right, he takes Auburn at home. What do you think, Bama James?
I'd like to agree, but I think Texas A&M has a point to prove, and I think they're going to come in with an attitude.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see if they can come in with that attitude, with some sort of attitude to play for their coach down the stretch. Not that he can go anywhere, not with the money that they're paying that dude. But I like the vibe at Auburn. I mean, I like what Cadillac is doing there. I like the way they played in the second half. I think Auburn's going to win the football game. If they win the football game, they're not going to win it by 1 because our line's just 1.5. So I'll jump on the other side of you there. I will take Auburn, and I'll lay the 1.5. All right, in the next game, I'll pick first. Then you'll hear from Grizz, and then you make your pick. Alabama is an 11.5 point favorite at Ole Miss. All right, Ole Miss is good. I think Ole Miss is as good as LSU. You know, LSU beat them down there. Certainly, Alabama has struggled on the road with these other teams, and I think Alabama wins the game. I've been saying they're going to win this game 3 or 4 points, but it's going to be a ball game all the way across the board. I will take Ole Miss, and I'll take the 11.5 points at home, Grizz.
No, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to take Bama here. I don't know if they have the wide receivers to be able to really push the ball down the field on Alabama, and I think they're going to be able to suffocate that run of Ole Miss. So I'm going to take Bama here.
So Bama suffocates the number 3 rushing attack in the country.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what do you think, Bama James? We know where your lean is.
I agree. Yeah, my lean is towards my team, and I do agree with Grizz.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to, but he will.
Your team is going to win the game because your team is my team, so I'm on them to win the game. I just don't know about that 11.5. You know, I love to see it, but I don't know. All right, in this one, you guys go first. Grizz, 11 o'clock in the morning at Arkansas. Ugh. LSU minus 3.5.
Minus 3.5 at Arkansas.
Minus 3. LSU is a 3.5 point favorite at Arkansas.
No, I'm gonna go upset here. Arkansas. Yeah, I'm gonna go Arkansas here. I like the points. Arkansas and the points.
All right, so he says Arkansas and the points. What do you think, Bama James?
I think Arkansas might have been looking ahead last week, and I'm going to have to agree that they're going to be up for this game. Arkansas should win it.
I'm taking the Hogs as well, and boy, does that change everything for the Alabama-Ole Miss game. I mean, what a because for Ole Miss, that would put Ole Miss back in the driver's seat if they can beat Alabama, and it puts Bama in a situation where they would be one more upset, loss by Arkansas away from being able to sneak their way into Atlanta. I think Arkansas is going to come back with a vengeance after that loss last week. They also have a very mobile quarterback. It's at home. I think that they play for a boot, right? They're playing for the boot there, and so I think that's in play. It's a trophy game, so there's a trophy. I'm going to take Arkansas as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it win the game outright, but I'll take the 3.5 points. All right, in this one, I'm up first. Missouri getting 20.5 at Tennessee. This is a really dicey one, especially for a guy like me that's 9-0 in my last 9 college picks. I don't know if you knew that, Chris. Did you hear that? I don't know if you heard that. 9-0 in my last 9 college picks. I'm taking Missouri with the 20.5, man. Backdoor cover, UT with a little hangover, maybe. UT wins the game comfortably, 15, 16, but 20.5. I think Missouri's sporty. I'll take the points, and I'll take Mizzou. What do you got, Grizz?
Well, a guy that's coming off 5-0 because he doesn't do halves on his NFL picks this weekend.
What do you mean? Whoa,
I went 5-0 this weekend.
Explain yourself. What's halves mean?
I'm talking about your. I'm talking about your 0.5. I'm talking about your halves. I'm talking about your halves and betting.
So you don't have half points in your picks?
No, I was basically doing. I do it off of ESPN, whatever ESPN has.
I know that, but I mean, are you picking against the spread, or are you just picking winners?
I'm picking against the spread, and I went 5-0.
So none of them were ties, is what you're saying?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so halves only come into play because we don't want ties.
Right. No. Yeah,
okay.
no.
All right. All right, so go ahead.
I'm just saying, I was agreeing with you. I don't believe in Missouri. Yeah. I think this is just. I think they might be worse than Vanderbilt. Have they played yet this year? I just don't believe in Missouri, and I think UT's just got too much on offense.
Don't blow them away, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So UT to blow them away. He says, "All right, what do you think, Bama James?"
Now this game is in Missouri, correct?
No, it's at Tennessee.
Well, I got to go with Tennessee then.
So Tennessee to blow them away. All right, so I'm on the opposite side of you guys on that one. All right, you guys are first on this one. Grizz was 5-0 in his NFL picks last week. Let's see how he does with these 2 NFL picks. All right, Grizz, the Vikings and Kirk Cousins get 3.5 at the Bills.
Is Josh Allen playing?
I don't. That's the thing. I mean, I'm surprised there's even a line on this game.
You know what? I'm going to go with Kirk Chains. I'm going to go with. I'm definitely going to Kirk Cousins here. I'm going to go Vikings here.
He says Vikes. What do you think, Bama James?
I tend to agree. I think he'll win it.
This is a brutal game to pick. Buffalo coming off the loss. Vikings getting 3.5. Look, the Vikings struggled to beat Washington last week at Washington. Back-to-back road games for the Vikings. I will take the Bills and hope like hell that my fantasy quarterback is playing in this game because if he's not, I don't have another. I traded away Tua Tagovailoa for I don't know what. I don't know why I traded him away, but I did trade him away. So I'm going to take Josh Allen and the Bills here, and I'm going to lay the 3.5 to you two guys. All right, last game here is the one we talked about with Steve. The Cowboys are -4.5 at the Packers. Oh, my gosh. Are the Packers ever going to show up this season? Are they going to show up at this one against the Cowboys? It's 4.5. The Cowboys could kick a field goal and win the game. It's too many. I give 4.5 with the Packers at home. Come on, Packers. I'm going to take Green Bay, and I'm going to take the 4.5 points at home, Grizz.
No, I totally agree. RELAX, relax. I mean, I think
too late for that.
I know, right? But I think it's a lot of. I think it's a good bit of. I think it's a good bit of points between these two teams, and I still think Aaron Rodgers can get it within. Get it within 3. So I'm gonna take the Packers here.
Yeah, they're not going to come back and make the playoffs, but they could win this game. I would hope. I would think. All right, what do you think, Bama James? The Packers are getting 4.5 points at home against the Dallas by God Cowboys.
Well, I tend to think that Dak is going to come through. I think Dallas cover that.
Grizz, what's the weather in Green Bay for Sunday? Check the weather in Green Bay for Sunday, late afternoon weather. I wonder, because that may or may not have anything to do with the way this game goes. So in summation, I am on Auburn, and I am giving a 1.5 to you, Bama James. You got A&M. I've got Ole Miss getting 11.5 at home. You've got your beloved Alabama Crimson Tide. You're laying the wood. Arkansas, we all like Arkansas at home getting 3.5. I have Missouri plus the 20.5 at Tennessee. You two guys want Tennessee in that one. I have got the Buffalo Bills laying 3.5 to the Cowboys. You two guys took the Vikings, to the Vikings. You guys took the Vikings in that one. And I've got the Packers, and I get 4.5 at home. Bama James, you have the Cowboys, so you're going to lay the 4.5 to me in that one. So good luck with this, Bama James. Good hearing from you again.
Good talking to you, Tom. Have a great weekend.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
It's 38 degrees on Sunday.
Any precipitation?
0.
So
53% humidity.
So clear and cold.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That
9 mile per hour winds.
Oh, light winds.
Light winds.
So just light winds. Okay. All right. Before I get to the break, and I want you to hear from Ryan Clark when I come back from the break. I want you to hear from Ryan Clark and what he had to say about the situation with Jeff Saturday. But there's an update on the Michigan State tunnel fight. I don't know if you heard about this, but an attorney that is representing one of the suspended Michigan State players involved in that fight in the tunnel at Michigan Stadium following the Wolverines' victory on October 29th is saying that Michigan State players were responding to the actions of a Michigan player. David Diamond, who's a lawyer based in Los Angeles, released a statement saying, quote, "We have learned that the Michigan player started the altercation. Eyewitnesses have described it as charging with his helmet and throwing a punch," close quote. Well, we haven't seen that on video yet. You know what I mean? Reached by the Detroit News, Diamond, who is not revealing at this time which player that he's representing, said the point of his statement was to push back against the narrative that Michigan players are innocent in this altercation and all the blame lies with the Michigan State players. He said, quote, "It's imperative that this is an objective and fair investigation, which I believe it will be based on my communications with the lead investigator on the case. The reality of the situation forces us to determine why the Michigan players were in the tunnel at that time, what they did to instigate the event, and whether the response by the Michigan State players was in self-defense or proportionate to the threat they felt from the Michigan players." Close quote. No, I mean, there's one Michigan guy, and there's like half a dozen Michigan State guys. So I don't know about self-defense. Maybe if it was one-on-one,
It looked like somebody was talking trash, and they didn't have a lot of people around them, and Michigan State players felt like they were disrespected. That's what it looks like.
He says that he rammed them and punched them. So that's different than just talking to them.
Yeah.
Rammed them and punched them. Now, Melissa Overton, who is the deputy chief of police for the University of Michigan Police Department, said that she hopes that the investigation is going to be completed sometime this week. So the University of Michigan Police Department is looking into the University of Michigan players, whether or not they might want to be a little more independent than that, don't you think? Jim Harbaugh said there needs to be accountability. There needs to be a full and thorough, timely investigation. I can't imagine that this will not result in criminal charges. So Harbaugh wants criminal charges against Sparty. He said the videos are bad. It's clear what transpired. It seems very open and shut. As they say, watch the tape. An apology will not get the job done in this instance. There should be serious consequences for the many individuals that are culpable. This has been a very traumatic experience for everybody, especially for Jaden and Jamon, two guys that were involved from Michigan. We support them and their families in every possible way, like Jim Harbaugh. So the attorney for Michigan State players says Michigan started it. Chew on that. All right, phone lines open, 256-576-4977. When we return, What did I'm becoming a huge fan of Ryan Clark. I think he's a rising star at ESPN. What did Ryan Clark say about the Jeff Saturday hiring and why it makes so much sense what he said? Next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hey there, folks. Head fry cook Bob Baumhauer here, and I just want to say thank you for allowing Baumhauer's Victory Grill to serve you for 40 legendary years. When I first delivered Alabama's first taste of buffalo wings back in 1981, people thought I was crazy. For the first few years, I had to give wings away. Imagine that. 40 years later, I'm still proud to serve the great people and visitors of Alabama, our famous buffalo wings, and much more. Here's to 40 years of legendary fun, legendary food, and many, many more.
Ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe it or not, the holidays are upon us. It is time to start thinking about the important things like, hey, what's on the menu this year? It is time to pre-order your honey glazed ham or turkey from Apple Lane. Let's get honey glazed for the holidays and make the holidays even sweeter with our award-winning banana pudding.
That's right.
Let us help make this year's holiday just so much easier. Apple Lane, come see us in Decatur, Alabama on the Beltline.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. An increase in cloud cover through the heart of the afternoon and then early into the evening. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s, dropping into the upper 50s and lower 60s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Showers and thunderstorms should develop across the Tennessee Valley during that time frame and stick with us at least through the early part of the afternoon on Friday. With that in mind, temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler, highs hanging out in the upper 60s and lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Have lunch with the big dog.
Food fight!
It's the Thom Abraham Show.
Okay, this guy is a real zero. That's true.
Weekdays noon till 2 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
No matter how you got hurt, like how I'm going to hurt myself tonight working on one of my son's houses, it's bound to happen. Then I'll have to go to TOC and get fixed up. I mean, that's just the way it works. Whether you got hurt, in athletics, what you might have been playing pickleball. You know what I mean? I've got a desire to play pickleball now, because it looks like something you can play without moving real far. You know, if you play like doubles pickleball. I might play triples pickleball just so I don't have to move. But if the ball comes to me, I got pretty quick hands. So, but if I hurt myself, I go to TOC and they can take care of it. They got specialists for every part of your body, right? So they can get you fixed up. Yeah, I'm working on my wife has she loves to do renovation projects. And I used to be a contractor 100 years ago. I grew up in the trades, and I don't mind. I enjoy doing, handyman type stuff. My son, my 25-year-old son, I guess he's 24, 25, whatever he is. He owns several properties, and he's a slumlord, basically, is what I tell him. But he owns several properties. He owns a trailer park and so on and so forth as well. But he owns some of these individual homes. He wants to put one of them on the market that's in Huntland, and it needs some work. So I'm doing the project for him. He's paying me like a contractor, but I'm doing the project for him because he's extremely busy running the business that he's running. So after hours, I go down there and I knock out some stuff. Tonight, I'm putting in the blown-in insulation in his attic because he's getting some sweating that's going on the walls, the interior walls of this thing. So I got to blow in some insulation, but I got to replace a bunch of floor joists and just a bunch of retrofitting of old stuff. It's a 60-year-old house, and I'm going to hurt myself. So hopefully I don't hurt myself too bad, but at least I know I got TOC Sports in my corner if I do. All right, Ryan Clark had an interesting take on the whole hiring of Jeff Saturday as an interim head coach. Jeff Saturday met the press, and he said, look, I'm totally confident that I can do this job. A lot of gnashing of teeth has been, well, wait a minute. They just went with an interim from outside the building, and you didn't even have to talk to anybody? I mean, what happened to the Rooney Rule? The Rooney Rule applies to permanent hires, not to interim hires, okay? And right now, all Jeff Saturday is his interim hire. But he's also got a leg up on anybody else because he's getting a chance now to basically audition for the job. Nobody else is getting this opportunity. This is what Ryan Clark had to say.
Congratulations, Jeff. I wish you the best. I believe that you are a very capable human because of your character and your personality to be in that locker room. I also believe that you have the intelligence to do the jobs. Now let's get to this. Many people are talking about race. This isn't about the race of the coaches. There were guys like Gus Bradley, who are former head coaches on that staff, or guys like Scotty Montgomery. So it's not about their color. This is about relationship. And that does bring it to race for this reason. There isn't the representations of faces like mine, of minority faces, who can build the familiarity that Jim Irsay has built with Jeff Saturday. Now let's think about some of the bad things or the downsides to this. Jeff Saturday, how is he going to walk into Gus Bradley's office and say, you should call these plays? Or how is he going to tell Scotty Montgomery the running back room should run like this when you haven't been there, you haven't been in that position to elevate? And if I'm a player, I'm going to think about this. You're not with us. How are you with us? Were you here in the offseason? Were you here during training camp? Have you been here for the first 9 weeks of the season? And so if you're not with us, then you must be with him. How can I share with you what I'm going through? How can I tell you about the difficulties I'm facing as a player and not believe that you're going to sit on Jim Irsay's couch later on that night and pillow talk? I believe in Jeff Saturday. I think Jeff Saturday's a good man.
Yeah, see, I like where he's going with that. He's like, forget the race aspect of this. You're bringing a guy in from the outside that is connected only to the owner. This dude does not have any connection. Jeff Saturday has zero connection to these players. And you're just bringing a guy in. Now, he's not going to walk in. I don't think he's going to walk into Gus Bradley's office and say, call this. I don't think he's going to walk into the position rooms, but maybe he's going to analyze everything that's going on. This is a CEO type of head coach with Jeff Saturday. Now, he's the one that's going to have to make the decision if they're going for it on fourth down, though, and some of these other type of things. As a former coach myself, I shun to think of what would happen if Jeff Saturday walks in there and they go 6-2 down the stretch. Because if they were to do that, then you're saying that, you know what? Anybody can be the coach. Just take a broadcaster, take him out of the, hey, who played for the Colts? Pat McAfee. He's got an opinion. Make Pat McAfee the head coach. No, it doesn't work that way. There's so much more to coaching. So that part of me wants him to fail. I don't care about the color part. You said, well, that's because you're a white dude, dog. No, I don't care about the color part because I don't care about the color part. I'm colorblind when it comes to that. I want my team to win. I'm a Browns fan, right? I don't care if Hugh Jackson would have won. I don't care if the coach is a Martian. I just want to win football games. All right? So, I just want the guy to be of high character. I want him to do a great job. I am surprised. I would like to know, has anyone asked Jim Irsay, did you ask Tony Dungy if he would do this? Did you? Because you want to talk about a guy that's got chops. How about a Super Bowl winning coach in Tony Dungy? Did you ask Tony Dungy before you asked Jeff Saturday? And I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. What I do know is coming up next is Paul Feinbaum.